Welcome to AR Tales. Today's story is about a man whose girlfriend always chose her ex's feelings over their relationship until he finally chose himself and walked away. As you listen, think about what you would do in his place. My girlfriend said, "I won't drop my ex." I replied, "Then I will go alone." Then I accepted the London promotion, packed my bags, let her keep chasing her ex's drama instead of our future, and I just waited for her to notice I was leaving. My name is Ethan. I am 29 and I work as a software engineer. I live in Chicago, and for the last 3 years, I was in a relationship with my girlfriend, Vanessa, who is 27 and works in marketing. We had been living together for about a year and a half, and from the outside, everything probably looked normal. On the inside, there was one problem that never really went away. Vanessa stayed very close to her ex-boyfriend, Ryan, and I do not mean an occasional holiday text. I mean daily good morning messages, long phone calls when he was stressed, and coffee meetups whenever he needed support. At first, I tried to be open-minded. I told myself, maybe they really are just friends, maybe I should not be the jealous guy. But the pattern was hard to ignore. She would cancel our plans because Ryan needed to talk about his breakup, his job, or his new girlfriend. More and more, it felt like I was dating someone who was still emotionally tied to her ex. Looking back, this was the first red flag I ignored. When someone shows you they already have a priority, you should pay attention. 2 years ago, my company offered me a promotion. It meant moving to our London office, a big pay raise, and a chance to lead my own team. I was excited and nervous, but mostly proud. I went home ready to share the news and talk about our future. Vanessa's reaction crushed that moment. She said, "I cannot leave right now. Ryan is going through a hard breakup and needs me here for support." She framed it like a simple choice. He needed her, so we could not go. I convinced myself the timing was just bad. I turned the promotion down, told my boss I wanted to stay. I told myself I was choosing our relationship. Last year, another London opportunity came up. Even better role, basically my dream job. I told Vanessa again, hoping this time she might see what it meant for us. She said she still could not move. This time, Ryan was anxious about his new relationship and needed her to stay close. I pointed out the pattern. Different year, same excuse, same man. Vanessa told me I was being ridiculous and jealous. She said healthy relationships do not involve cutting off friendships with exes. She told me if I could not handle her having male friends, maybe I was not mature enough for a serious relationship. That hurt. It also made me question myself. I started wondering if I really was the problem, if I was being controlling. But then I noticed something. She never once asked Ryan to set boundaries. She never said, "I have a boyfriend who might feel uncomfortable." It was always my feelings that needed to be managed, never his behavior that needed to change. This is a common move. If you call your partner insecure every time they ask for respect, you never have to look at your own choices. My friend Marcus at work called it out. He said, "Dude, my wife only talks to her ex because they share a kid. Maybe twice a year." Your girlfriend is basically in 2 emotional relationships at once. My sister Sarah was even more direct. She said Vanessa was keeping Ryan as backup and giving me whatever time was left over. 3 weeks ago, my boss called me into his office. A third London opportunity. Team lead, 6-figure salary, and a big role in a new project. But this time he was very clear. He said, "I have tried to get you promoted internationally for 2 years. This is the last time I can offer this. If you turn it down again, I have to move on." I went home that night planning to talk to Vanessa again about our future. I walked in the door and found her on the phone with Ryan. She saw me, raised a finger, and told me to wait while she helped him through another relationship drama. She stayed on the phone for a long time, telling him she would always be there for him, that he could count on her no matter what. I sat there on the couch, listening. In that moment, something clicked. This was not a phase. This was my life. She had already chosen who came first, and it was not me. This is the point where many people stay and hope that someday, somehow, it will get better. But if nothing changes, nothing changes. The next morning, I called my boss and accepted the London position. I did not ask Vanessa. I did not bring it up for discussion. I simply said yes. The company gave me 6 weeks to relocate. For those 6 weeks, I watched, more aware than ever. Ryan texted her good morning every day. She replied with heart emojis and messages like, "Hope you have a great day, babe." When I asked about the babe part, she brushed it off as their normal way of talking. She said I was making it weird. He called her at least 4 times a week, often when we were supposed to be having our time together. She always answered. Then she would disappear into another room for half an hour or more, counseling him about work, family, or his girlfriend. If your partner is giving that level of emotional support to an ex, it is not just friendship anymore. It is a second relationship, even if they do not sleep together. 2 weeks before my move, my company hosted a big holiday party. Senior management, lots of networking, a great chance to show my face before London. Vanessa and I were supposed to go together. That morning, Ryan called in a panic. His girlfriend had found out how much they talked, and she was threatening to leave him. He wanted to meet Vanessa for coffee so she could help him fix it. Vanessa turned to me and said, "I am sorry, babe, I have to help him. This is an emergency. You will have other work parties." She skipped the event and went to meet Ryan instead. I went alone. I told people she felt sick. I spent the evening talking to my future London colleagues. One of the directors pulled me aside and said they were counting on me for the expansion. In that moment, I realized something simple. I was already all in on London. I just had not admitted it to myself yet. Meanwhile, Vanessa spent 4 hours with Ryan, helping him craft messages to save his relationship with another woman. A few days later, my work visa got approved. My flights were booked for the next Friday. I even set up a video viewing for a flat in Canary Wharf with a view of the Thames. My new boss sent a welcome package. I still had not told Vanessa I was leaving. I wanted to see how she reacted when she finally had to face the result of her choices. Wednesday night, I finally told her. I said I accepted the London position. I am flying out Friday to look at apartments, and I am moving permanently in 3 weeks. The look on her face said everything. She asked when I applied why we had not discussed it. I told her I made this decision the same way she had made hers about Ryan, without including me. I said, "You decided for 3 years that his feelings mattered more than my career and our relationship. I decided I am done living around that." She started crying, saying it was different, that Ryan was just a friend who needed support. I told her I was her boyfriend who needed a partner who chose us. She begged me to reconsider and said we could work on boundaries now. I told her it was too late. I was tired of being the third wheel in my own relationship. The next morning, she drove me to the airport. On the way, she asked if we could pause the relationship while she figured things out. I said we could end it instead, because I was done waiting for her to learn basic loyalty. London was amazing. I found a flat overlooking the Thames, signed the lease, met my new team, and felt more aligned with my own life than I had in years. But while I was settling in, something else was happening back in Chicago. When I landed back home after the trip, my phone exploded. Dozens of missed calls and hundreds of messages. From Vanessa's friend Jessica, my sister Sarah, and my friend Marcus. Everyone wanted to talk about what had happened. Here is what I learned. The night I left for London, Ryan still came over for the dinner they had planned. He brought wine and flowers to thank Vanessa for always being there for him. Vanessa was already emotional and vulnerable from our fight. Jessica later told me what Vanessa had shared. Ryan told Vanessa that he had always regretted their breakup. He said watching her be so caring and loyal made him realize she was the one who got away. He admitted that all the constant contact had not really been about needing support. It was his way of staying close while he waited for his chance to win her back. Then he kissed her. Vanessa asked about his current girlfriend. Ryan laughed and said he had been planning to break up with her anyway, that she was just a placeholder while he waited for Vanessa to be available again. That is when Vanessa finally saw it. The calls, the crises, the constant need for comfort were not acts of friendship. They were manipulation. He had been undermining our relationship the whole time, using her loyalty to him as a weapon. Sometimes the truth shows up in a painful way, but it still shows you exactly what you have been refusing to see. Vanessa kicked him out. Then she spent the next day trying to call me, leaving voicemails saying she finally understood what I had been trying to tell her, that she was sorry and wanted to fix things. But I was on a long flight. Her calls went to voicemail. When she could not reach me, she drove to my office. My boss told her I was out of the country on business. She asked when I would be back. He told her I had relocated to London. That is when it hit her that I was not bluffing. This was not a dramatic scare tactic. This was my new life. Sarah told me that Vanessa called her sobbing, asking for my London contact information. She said she finally understood how badly she had hurt me and wanted to fight for us. My sister told her, he spent 3 years fighting for you while you made him compete with your ex for basic respect. He is done fighting. He is building a life where he is chosen first. When I got back to Chicago to pack my things, I finally called Vanessa. She sounded destroyed. She kept saying she was sorry, that she never meant for things to go so far with Ryan, that she genuinely thought they were just friends. She said she wanted to fix everything, that she loved me, that she finally saw Ryan's true intentions. I told her the truth. I said, you chose him over me every time, when he needed support versus when I needed partnership. When his comfort mattered more than my concerns. You taught me exactly where I stood. Now I am choosing me. She begged to visit London, asked if we could try long distance, asked if there was any way to save what we had. I told her I was not angry anymore, but I was done. I had spent 3 years asking her to choose us, and she only woke up when her backup plan showed his true colors. I was not going to be someone's second choice after their first choice used them. I moved to London for good, started my new job, built a life there. And that could have been the end, but life had more to show both of us. London turned out to be everything I hoped for. About 6 months after I moved, I was promoted to senior engineer. I bought a flat in Canary Wharf with a view of the Thames. Work is challenging in a good way, my team is great, and I genuinely like my life. I also met someone new. Her name is Emma, she is 28, and she is a product manager at a fintech startup. We met at a networking event about 8 months ago. From the beginning, things felt very different in simple, quiet ways. For example, she mentioned her ex from university once. Later, when he came to town and wanted to meet for coffee, she told me directly, and then she told him no. Her exact words to him were, "I am in a relationship, and I do not need closure or friendship from my past when I am building a future with someone now." That is what it looks like when someone chooses you, without needing a long conversation about boundaries. About 6 months ago, Vanessa emailed me. It was a long message about how much she had changed, how therapy had helped her see that she had been chasing validation through male attention, and how sorry she was for how she treated me. She wanted to visit London and see if we could reconnect. Life had not been kind to her after I left. Ryan lost interest about 3 weeks after I moved. Once Vanessa was actually available, the thrill disappeared for him. He stopped putting in effort, then slowly ghosted her. Classic chase behavior. He wanted what he could not fully have, not a real relationship. Because Vanessa had spent so much energy on Ryan's drama, her work had slipped. She was passed over for promotions twice, then had to accept a lower position to keep a job at all. Financially, she struggled. We had been splitting costs. Now she had to pay full rent alone. She ended up moving in with roommates, then eventually back in with her parents when she could not keep up with Chicago rent. I read her email and felt sad for her, but not tempted. I replied politely and wished her well, but I told her I had moved on and was not interested in going back to that chapter of my life. She did not take it well. She started commenting on my social media posts, writing that London looked lonely, that career success meant nothing without someone to share it with. I blocked her. Last I heard from mutual friends, she is still single, living with her parents and working an entry-level marketing job. I do not say that to be cruel. It is just the reality of what happens when you burn bridges with people who are truly committed to you. Now, Emma and I are talking about moving in together. She has already met my family over video and they love her. We are planning a Christmas trip to Chicago so she can meet them in person. My life is calm, full, and built around mutual respect instead of constant drama. Here are some lessons from this story. Lesson 1. If your partner always finds a reason to put someone else's feelings above your relationship, they have already shown you their priorities. Lesson 2. Calling normal boundaries jealous or controlling is often a way to avoid taking responsibility for disrespectful behavior. Lesson 3. Emotional cheating does not require physical contact. Giving boyfriend or girlfriend level support to an ex while treating your partner like an afterthought is its own kind of betrayal. Lesson 4. Opportunities for growth do not wait forever. Turning down major life chances for someone who will not choose you back can cost you years you will never get back. Lesson 5. The right partner does not need a long rulebook about basic respect. They avoid questionable behavior on their own because they care about the relationship. Lesson 6. When someone finally believes you after they lose you, that does not mean you owe them another chance. You are allowed to move on. What would you have done in Ethan's place, especially when the first London offer came up? Have you ever been in a relationship where your partner made you compete with an ex for basic respect? Share your thoughts in the comments.